Hey everybody, it's Wonderful Skiff, and today we're back with another Smasher Showcase. I was fortunate enough to get the wonderful Myran on here today. How you doing today?
Doing pretty good, just trying to loosen up for this tournament later on, but it's not too bad. How about you?
I'm doing all right, and I guess I get to be your warm-up partner, which is something I never thought I'd really do for someone, at least on PGR. But yeah, so first things first, gonna get right into this, and the first thing I usually like to ask people is, where's your tag come from?
So my tag is a shortened version of the name Myran, which is just pretty much this name, but like ICE on the end of it. Mm-hmm. And I got that from, I play World of Warcraft. I played it for years. Oh, there we go. A little bit of lag? Okay. And I got the name in that game because I was starting a character in that game. You can randomize your name, and I couldn't think of a name, so I randomized it, and I got Myran, and I was like, oh wow, that's kind of a cool name. And I used it for years, and then when I finally started going to Smash tournaments, I tried that full name, and I like set it to the TO, and he messed it up, and I was like, okay, we're not dealing with that again, so we're just gonna shorten it. Mm-hmm. And I'd already kind of like used shortened variations of it in World of Warcraft. It's kind of the name that I took on as like my gamer tag, if you will. Yeah. And that's kind of where it came from, and I just, at this point, it's kind of like it feels more like my first name than anything, but yeah, it came from the randomized button of World of Warcraft mixed with my desire to shorten.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the first time I've heard someone from World of Warcraft. Most of the time, I get someone on and I'm asking that question, it's like, oh, Minecraft, or one dude was Club Penguin. So.
Oh, no.
But, no, that's still pretty cool. It's still a randomizer, though, because I think a couple other people were also randomized or something like that. So yeah, that's really neat to see.
It's interesting because Myran in and of itself is actually like a name that people have, which I found out after, years later after I started using the tag and all that. So, and most people, when they call me, they're like, oh, I thought this was your name at first, so they didn't know me beforehand. Uh-huh. So yeah, it was randomized in its original format, but it just works so well that people would never know.
Just gonna kill all those Pikmin right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, World of Warcraft. Pretty sweet, I guess. I've never really got too deep into World of Warcraft, so what did you play?
I play priest primarily. I like to heal a lot. I guess it's the same reason I like Olimar. A lot of like micromanaging and things like that. Makes
sense.
But yeah, I've been playing World of Warcraft off and on since I was like, I think 12, and I'm like 24 now. So it's been a good chunk of my life. Oh,
that's big damage. That's cool. Yeah, no, like, I think the few times when World of Warcraft was really big, I tried getting into it, but I was always, like, kind of poor, so I never really got into it too much.
No, I totally understand.
Well, I love the Tauren. The Tauren were so cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a giant buff cow. Why wouldn't you want to play with one of those?
Right, exactly. So I guess if I had to choose, I was a Horde guy back then, but I never really got too deep into it to, like, really obsess over the whole, like,
Alliance or Horde. Yeah, my brother got me into it, and he was Horde, so I kind of just have filled that role for the whole time I've been playing. It's been off and on, because when I got into competitive, I kind of shifted all of my free time into that, but before that it was like pretty simply, like that was my game playing growing up.
It makes a lot of sense. So going on from there, let's talk about you as a player and game plan and like what your strengths are. So obviously you're an Olimar main. You've been an Olimar main for a hot minute now. Always an Olimar main? I assumed you started in Brawl.
Yeah, so I've been playing Smash casually all my life, so even since 64 and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I picked up Olimar a couple months before I got into competitive, so it was kind of just like a casual choice, because I was looking for a new character to beat my friends who were beating me at the time, because I played Toon Link before that.
Okay.
And I like saw a video of the Japanese player, and I was like, oh, that looks really cool. I could do that. And like I said, I looked for that new character, so then I picked him up. And then I ended up going to my first Brawl tournament in 2013.
Okay.
It was a couple months after I picked up Olimar. So my entire competitive lifespan has remained like pre-game, essentially. The only one not being that would be like PM, where I like co-main Mario and Olimar, because it changed him in that game. Yeah. But every Nintendo title has been exclusive to Olimar.
Okay. Yeah, no, because I know you were quite a big deal in 4 as well, and obviously in the beginning of Ultimate, you were one of the big wigs for sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, as far as I've always known you, it's always just been Olimar, so I wasn't sure if maybe there's a pre-Olimar phase or anything like that.
No, it's always been Olimar. He just, as a character, he just really resonates with me. And it's one of those things where I feel rather fortunate that in every iteration of the game, he might have changed some from like Brawl to 4. He's always been like peak fun that I can get out of Smash Brothers since I picked him up. And while I might have, my opinions on the balance of the game or whatever, he's just so enjoyable that I don't ever have reason to switch or want to switch.
I get that. But my early stages of Ultimate were Rob, and Rob's already a very good character, and I was like, you know what? Cineworks is so much more fun.
No, and that's totally understandable. Like when I started playing Smash 4, there was a noticeable drop in like Olimar's viability because it wasn't Brawl Olimar.
Yeah.
And I remember I was kind of still getting my foot in the water in the scene in terms of knowing a lot of people, and I ended up meeting the Buzz online. Like I was like, yo, can we play? And I'm playing. He was really good, and I was still like getting a lot better at the game. And I play Olimar, and he beats me, and he's like, drop Olimar, the character's trash. I was like, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. And then, I eventually started taking games and all that, and convinced him somewhat. He came around a bit more. But yeah, no, it's I've had people tell me one thing or another about what I should do, and I'm like, nah, I'm alright.
Good stuff. No, I'm actually glad that you stuck with the Olimar even after all the nerfs that he's received and all that stuff. I mean, it's good. Character loyalists are always great.
I'm in too deep. I can't quit now. That's all I know.
It sounds like a problem more than a solution.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, realistically, I probably should go play Joker or Palutena, but I can't. I'm just too far in right now.
I hear that. And you're dead. No, you're not. I thought you were gonna be dead.
I got that DI on deck.
I don't know anything about that. Low player privilege, low level. Hey, stop that. All right, so moving forward, obviously you've been playing Olimar. So what do you consider some of your strengths as a player, or even just being an Olimar player itself?
Well, I think one of the big things I tend to do rather well, not even like an Olimar specific thing, is I'm really good at I don't want to say playing aggressive, although I do tend to be more of an aggressive player, but I think I can spiral really well, like take like momentum and run really well. My weakest area tends to be defensive play, in my opinion. So when I play Olimar, like I prefer to play it in a way to where I'm gonna smother you with my purple Pikmin or something like that, just pressure. And I also just like to have a really not niche, but kind of deeper understanding of my character, to where I can hit tech that no one would either think of, or they would say it's not viable, but then I find a way to apply it. And that's one of the reasons I like Olimar as well, just because there's so much there with like the Pikmin and different setups you can do and all that a lot of people just don't know about until you hit them with it. Like the one tech, I don't know if you saw it, Pound, and I did the decent grab on JW the Greninja on the platform, and I killed him with an up throw when I was below the platform.
Yeah.
And he was just like, everyone in that venue was just kind of like, what just happened?
Yeah, what the hell was this?
Yeah, and it's that kind of stuff that's just really enjoyable. So I would say like my strong areas are, I have a really good knowledge of the game, or at least things that pertain to me in the immediate vicinity. And I'm pretty good at like understanding how everything applies together to make an aggressive play style.
All right. I think that's definitely fair. I remember watching you plenty of times before, and like there'd be times where like I'm rooting for one guy, and then I see your name pop up, and at the time I'm just like, no.
No, it's totally understandable. Totally understandable.
No, I get it. I'm sure you get it too. But like at the time, I'm just like, yo, I want this guy to win, and then you just see Myron's name pop up. It was either like Myron or the Buzz. You just see Olimar. You're just like, he's not making it past this round.
It's a little surreal because
Oh, whoops! I still have this on.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. You don't always realize, like, I guess how people view you when you're kind of getting better. So people see me, and I just think of myself like, yeah, I'm a good player. It's whatever. And then I'll go up to like a tournament, like a local or some smaller tournament, and someone will be like, oh no, I gotta fight you, Myron. It's like, wait, what are you talking about? It's like, oh, I'm not gonna win. Like they think of me different than I see myself, I guess. So there's a lot more of that, like, oh no, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
But the Olimar thing is definitely true. I mean, at Frostbite last year, when I had to fight Shuton, everyone was like, Shuton beat Myron, he's winning, he's Olimar, but no one realized that he's also Olimar.
Yeah. I remember that set very well, actually, because he ended up pulling out the
Richter.
the Belmont, and he had that. was it they call like the 10,000 IQ recovery or whatever?
Yep. Down air on the Pikmin. Yep.
Yeah.
That. They won't let me forget that one.
Yeah,
it was.
It was super fun to watch. Oh my god, I still remember that so well. It was just such a good time.
It really was. But it always killed me how like people were rooting for him. It's like, what do you want, guys? He's gonna do the same thing I am.
Yeah, but you know he's one of the Japanese players, you know, and everyone
that's how it is.
Everyone just loves them. That's just what it comes down to. But so yeah. Going from your strengths, though, let's talk about some of your weaknesses. So what do you think some of your weaknesses are? And obviously, like, we could go over, you know, just the Olimar being, where he is at the moment. But for you as a player, what do you think you struggle with?
I think defensive play is something that I'm not as good at as maybe the other aspects of my play, because I tend to just tunnel a little too hard. Maybe I'm like, oh, I have to play defensive, and then I'll super focus on it, and it kind of gets me in a bad spot. I think another thing too is sometimes I can get a little bit too mentally distracted, I guess, by certain things. Like if one thing goes wrong, it can spiral, like the mentality aspect of things, and that's something that I'm always working on. But it's a rough thing, you know. It's a little bit more hit or miss than I would prefer.
For sure.
And then honestly, this is like a good and bad thing, I guess, for specifically how I am. Like, you know, I have a good knowledge of the game, but a lot of it's how it pertains to Olimar, which is my character, so that's good. But then I play other characters, and, you know, my friends like to give me shit about it. They're like, yeah, Myran, you're actually not good with anyone but Olimar. And it's like, well, that's a little hurtful, but yes, there's a noticeable drop in my other character's performance.
I think it kind of makes sense, though, because you look at Olimar, and, like, he plays so uniquely compared to everybody else because he's got that heavy resource management, like you kind of mentioned before, a lot of micromanaging. And, like, on top of that, it's just like, what Pikmin do I have on deck? And then it's just like all these different types of combos that you go through from there. So, and again, he just doesn't play like anybody else. He can constantly put damage on you from across the stage if just a Pikmin's laying on it. So
yeah,
I kind of get where you're coming from there for sure.
Yeah, it's like it's something I recognize. Like I'm not like absolute trash with every other character, you know, but like my Olimar is noticeably my best, and I'm kind of fine with that because you know that is my character. But it is something my friends like to give me shit about from time to time.
I guess I can see that happening though.
Well, like you know, you're like one of the best players or the best player in your region. Whenever you start talking shit, and they're like, well, Myran, you suck with anyone who's not Olimar. And I'm like, well, that doesn't matter because I can beat you with Olimar. Like I can hold that L all day.
I'm just gonna keep revenging. Oh no!
There we go. There we go.
This is where the difference between low level and high or top level play is. I press the funny button. You have multiple funny buttons to press. Okay, I'm gonna stop rolling in.
No, don't. You don't have to. Sorry.
No. I'm just let me get back to stage. Haha. All right, I'm gonna get back to stage. So you're gonna have to deal with it. Okay, never mind. Ah! So let's move forward from there. Actually. So we went over some of your strengths and your weaknesses. It definitely seems like you're very centralized around Olimar, and it makes sense. You've been maining the character forever.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of your results. I know you brought some of them up briefly, but what other results are you proud about? Because like right here, like I did a quick little search earlier. This kind of see some of the things you've done, and we got like some the Wi-Fi results lately. Yeah. And those are big. Oh, I was not expecting that up smash, but now I'm going to do this and drop 70 damage.
Yeah, my results, they've been very off and on, I guess. You know, everyone knows that I was very like dominant, and then I take a hit as to be expected when your character gets nerfed in a noticeable way, right?
Yeah.
And then I think the first half of the year was kind of me hitting a really good stride, and then the latter half was dealing with the nerfs and other personal things that kind of just weigh on you. And I didn't have anything crazy, but no, my proudest results are definitely third at Frostbite, second at Pound that year. Almost got top 8 at Genesis, let it slip. I was very frustrated about that last year too. Yeah. I was like fighting Cosmos and we're game 5, and I've been playing all day, and I guess I was kind of tired because I sat down and I play him, and I didn't realize that I was about to get top 8 and I need to get my shit together until I was down 2-0. And then by that point, like I bring it to game 5, and then I think he realized that he was like, oh no, I can't let him win this now. Then he kind of adjusted even more. But yeah, those are 2 really good ones. Honestly, I think it got like 17th at main stage, which wasn't, 17 is nothing insane for me personally. Like I prefer bigger, but
But it was
beating
like
Zach
only
Ray,
270 people and stuff, right?
it was, but it was super stacked.
Yeah, it was very stacked.
Yeah, and beating Zach Ray as handedly as I did felt very good for me as well. It was kind of a boost of confidence after having a bit of a rough few tournaments. So that was nice. So I'd say that, and then a lot of the other results are kind of, they're not bad. Like I got, you know, some top 32s other PGR events here and there, and I got some, but nothing crazy like I did the first year. So we're still getting back to there. There was some decent Wi-Fi tournaments. So I'm very hit or miss with Wi-Fi tournaments. Like the old Wi-Fi attorney series of a now currently redacted player.
Oh yeah, I looked at, I saw that tournament. I said, I'm just gonna skip this one for now, just so we don't have to talk about it.
I did those, and I did pretty good there. And then I remember, if you remember, like the quarantine/soaked series.
Yep.
I did those a couple times. Yep. Those are all right. I'm actually getting more of my footing in Wi-Fi as of right now. I'm doing more tournaments into it because, as I'm sure you've experienced, Smash Ultimate Wi-Fi is a troublesome thing at times.
Yeah, it is a bit of a different beast.
and navigating the landscape of Sonics and Robs is rather mentally draining. So I'm doing my best to get it. But no, my results aren't bad. I got I think 9th in one of the previous ones I entered, and it was all right. And you know, got the MKLeo one today. So, oh wow. So you know, my first half of 2019 was definitely the ideal year, but I had a couple of good like wins and placings throughout there that I'm not too disappointed in.
Went for some cheeky shit there. But yeah, for sure. Like, cause I actually wrote down some of these things. Like the quarantine minor, you ended up getting 33rd. Gammel, 25th. The box and the collision, you got 17th place in those. Still, like again, for Wi-Fi being such a different beast, and obviously there's like a different like kind of power rankings as we just saw come out for Wi-Fi. I mean, still even doing that well is still something. I mean, like you mentioned, you still got all these Sonics and Robs and just other characters that become a lot stronger. So I mean, those are still really good. I don't care what anybody says.
No, those are things that I'm even proud about. Like, because I don't go into these Wi-Fi tournaments with the same exact mindset as I do in person. One, because there's things that are just out of my control, either because of the online connection or because certain characters, you know, have like tools that they're responded to differently online. And I kind of am like, okay, well, I always want first or I always want top 8 or whatever. But even if I get like 17th and it was a good tournament, you know, like it's all right with me. Like I don't put the same pressure on per se, and I kind of take this as like. As cliche as it sounds, I guess everyone said it's like a training arc in a sense to where for when tournaments come back in person, because that to me is like my main focus, those actual like in-person tournaments where I'm unrestricted. So even if I get 17th here, I'm rather happy about it because it shows that I'm making some level of consistency in a landscape that's maybe not built for my character.
For sure, and I'm actually just kind of amazed that I've never seen someone parry the the revenge hitbox, and then you grabbed her right after. I sat here absolutely bewildered. I'm like, what the hell was this? What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I like to keep my opponent on their toes with their stuff. Like no hitbox is too safe.
I guess so. Like I was like, what the hell, man? Like I was like, cool, I got him, and he just parried it. I've never seen that. I mean, I guess that might be just something that's different for Olimar because you know you got all these other Pikmin on here who can do with these other hitboxes, and here I go, just getting my stacks up.
Oh no!
So yeah, but going further from there, like, so let's talk. I want to kind of bring up something because you brought up a point that you didn't really start competing until 2013, right?
Yeah, April 2013 was my first time.
Yeah, wow, you have the date down and everything.
It's burned into my mind for some reason.
Well, I guess it kind of makes sense. I don't remember the first day I really started competing seriously. But, I mean, I've also kind of just fell into the role of being the commentary guy.
Yeah.
For my local scene anyway, so, which is fine. I mean, if I don't make top 8, it just means I do a lot of the talking, so.
Yeah, and I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I think for me, it's, that was, you know, I don't know when you started, but back then, I was kind of towards the end of Brawl. Things were very different. You know, it wasn't everyone streamed this, everyone do this, you know.
Yeah.
Like we had recordings and stuff, and there might have been commentary, but that tournament was so noticeable for me because it was like the whole weekend, if you will, was a bit of a trip. Like we drove 5 hours to this tournament, my best friend and I, who I still, you know, play with to this day, and you know, we ended up going to this tournament, not knowing anyone. I went 1-2. He went 0-2. He won the amateur bracket. I got third in that. Then we had to sleep in our car because his car broke down. And then, and then on the way back, his car broke down again. So then we had to get help there. And it was just, it was a long weekend, but it was very memorable and it was very fun.
Yeah.
And
I didn't definitely. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say that I didn't go in with the intention of like doing anything super big with competitive Smash, but that was the first time that I went to a tournament that was at an actual tournament, not some random like GameStop or Play and Trade tournament where the rules are super whack, which I have been to before. I think that's for me where I might not have even gone in with the intention of like, oh, I need to do this, all the time or be the best or whatever. It was kind of just the first time thing to feel the waters out.
I get it. Yeah, no, so I've actually been playing for a long time, but competitively it's just been a different story for me.
Yeah.
I've been playing since Melee, but I've never gotten heavily involved in the competitive scene until I got, really until like this past year. So,
okay.
I'm actually, I'm definitely a lot older.
Nah, all good. Yeah, I mean, playing Smash Brothers growing up, because I hear people who are like, oh, I've never played a Smash Brothers game till Smash 4 or Ultimate. I'm like, really? And it seems so crazy to me, but it's totally understandable. Because I always grew up with me and my friends played casual Brawl and Melee and 64 all the time growing up. And it was just, it kind of felt like a natural extension to start going to these tournaments, even though I was really bad at the game relative to some of these other really good guys.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand where you're coming from with that.
So, yeah, but, wow, Ham, what were we going to do? Oh, yeah, this is what I wanted to ask. Yeah, we kind of got off to a bit of a tangent. It's not your fault. But, so saying how you started competing really in, like, back in 2013, and now, like, you get to a point where you're beating, like, the best, and you're among the best. Like, how did that feel, like, when you really started noticing that you were, like, in the position that you're in? Because, like, I mean, you said you went 1-2 in your first tournament, and then I'm looking at some of these names here, and you got wins on some people, very prominent players, such as just like Wadi, Prodigy, Nakat, and you Ace. And then I see people like Samsora, Mars, Shuton, and Light, and it's just kind of like that is a much bigger deal. Like,
yeah, it's kind of weird because going from Brawl, where Olimar was probably the best he's ever been, or close to maybe like pre-patch Olimar or whatever. In that game, I had to compete with the wave of Meta Knights and things like that.
Yeah.
And I was still learning a lot of the more fundamental aspects of the game. A good example would be, pivot grabbing, right? In Smash Bros. It's really good for Olimar. It always has been, especially in Brawl. Where I went to my first tournament, I lost to this guy, and he's like, "Oh, you should pivot grab more." And I was like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Wait, you play Olimar? You don't know what a pivot grab is?" I was like, "Yeah, what is it?" And then he showed me, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And I think after that tournament, I had that like burning desire to be best Olimar in the world. Like that, when I formed any type of goal, it was immediately that, right? Like it went straight from the top. And I practiced through Brawl, and it kind of like, I put in a lot of work, and I could see some growth like in a somewhat meaningful way as I played through it. And then Smash 4 came out, and it started on 3DS, and everyone was Wi-Fi-ing like crazy at that point. You just could. And I remember, I would Wi-Fi these other good players at the time, and I would play Olimar against them, and I would beat them, or I would do really well against them. DeBud's an example of someone who, cleaned my clock, so to speak, at the beginning, and then as time went on, it got a lot more even. And we were playing characters that weren't even in the same tier range at that point, Olimar and Rosa. And that was just really reassuring. And then as Smash 4 went on, like, I would get the occasional win, but I would never really break out. And I think that was partly because, I myself still had some growing to do as a player, but also just Olimar was worse in that game relative to this game. But I think when I always had the confidence that I could do it, or the know that I was capable of doing it, like, because I was always, since Smash 4 came out, I was a top player in the state of Florida. Like, I would make top 3s at tournaments all the time for a good while. As the dynamic of a game changed with the DLC and stuff, it would impact it. But I remember, I think the first time I ever really got a win where I was like, oh, okay, I'm actually there. I beat Tweak at Frostbite 2017 in Smash 4.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal, obviously, because he's a super solid player.
Yeah, he's, top 3 in the world.
Yeah, and I ended up doing a reverse 3-0 on him.
Please stop.
And that kind of made, like, a big impact on me, because it kind of boosted my confidence some. And then going into Ultimate, like, by the end of Smash 4, my results might not have been the best. I think I was partly, held back by the fact that just travel was a bit difficult due to money, of course. And that kind of maybe made it harder for me to really push myself. But Ultimate, like, I saw and I got the experience that Olimar got buffed, and I was like, oh, okay, now I'm now the weights are off, so to speak. I don't have to worry about my character not being good. It's like now we're fighting on an even playing field.
Yeah.
And it kind of just let me flex my natural, I guess, skill or muscles with the character. And going into Ultimate, I had the utmost confidence. Like, I would do tournaments, and I always still get my natural nerves, but I would say probably like Genesis. Genesis of Ultimate is when it really sunk in. Like, I considered myself like a top player. I mean, I was top representative of my character in Smash 4. Was lower ranked. Like, my highest PGR rank was 39 in that game.
I mean, 39, it's still really good.
Yeah, it's still really good in the world. But I think at that point, I always kind of looked at it as like, okay, I'm a really good player, but I'm not there at the top consistently. I can beat top players here and there. But in Ultimate, it was kind of like by Genesis, I knew that there wasn't. And actually, I don't say there wasn't, because MKLeo, he got me, he was my bracket demon. He beat me so many times in like a 6-month span.
I feel like having MKLeo as a bracket demon is a very privileged problem to have.
Yeah, that's like the best bracket demon I could have had. But by Genesis, I was just like, okay, I can do this. And then when I went into like something like Frostbite, I was oozing confidence. So, I saw my bracket, I was ready, and then like, when I saw like Shuton, I knew to myself that it was actually not possible for him to win. Like every other player, I was like, okay, this could go either way. I'm gonna try my best. But him, like, I'm so confident in the Olimar Ditto, especially. That's my favorite matchup. That he was not going to win, because we played a good amount of Smash 4 and it'd always go back and forth, and it was really close. But like, I think it was my confidence mixed with where they gave Olimar, like where they put him in this game, that I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm one of the elite, or whatever you want to call it, where like I'm in that same upper echelon, right? There's not a power gap anymore.
No, I get that. I think that's totally a good thing to have. I know a lot of people can see confidence as like arrogance and stuff like that, but like I feel like esports is like such a different thing sometimes. Like you just have to know that you're going to win, and that's what kind of pushes you through half of the games anyway. Is just saying, yeah, I know I'm better than this other guy I'm playing right now.
Yeah. And I always had like the confidence, even if you go back to my first like Smash 4 like regional or whatever you want to call it. It was January 2015 before Apex. That was Paragon. I went in there and like I'd been killing it at tournaments. Like I won a Miami tournament, which was considered like the best region of Florida at the time, and all that. Like their weekly, I did that, all this, and I went into that regional, and I was like, I know I'm good, and I had the confidence that I could beat anyone, but it wasn't like the overconfidence. It wasn't like the Shuton level confidence where I was like, you guys cannot beat me. It was just, I know I'm capable of doing it. And I think that confidence was always inside me, but like it took some years of refinement to really go like, okay, yeah, no, I'm at the same level as these, in a more consistent way, and then like we're not playing this one-sided game.
For sure. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked here. I was getting so bodied. But yeah, so like the confidence thing, like you said. So what is there something different about Miami other than like facing Shuton, or like what was the deal there?
It's just they had good players at the time. Well, the thing about Shuton specifically was he played Olimar, and I would argue that's who you don't want to play against.
Okay.
Like I'm kind of known in the Olimar community is like I'm the optimistic Olimar main, where like a lot of them might be more pessimistic about it or whatever. And I'm like, no, you're just not good enough. We're not doing it right. All of us aren't doing it right. But and I also really like the Olimar Ditto. So I play it, and when I went to like Shuton, it was just that with where I was at as a player and that match specifically, like I was so ready for it. Like he could win. Even when he went Richter, I was still like, I was like, oh, okay, this will be interesting, because I wasn't ready for it. But I think I had something to prove to myself after beating his Olimar, where it was like, okay, everyone's watching. They expected me to lose, now that I counterpicked, because a lot of people thought I was bad or carried or whatever. I was like, no, we're gonna prove this to everyone right here that it's not the character that's doing it for me. It's just me. It's just outplaying him. But I think with other players, like it's just the level of respect you give them. Like I give MKLeo the utmost respect, and I look, I'll take top players and I give them all a different level of like respect in game, right? Like you're good, but you play this character, so it might not be as hard as this character, and you kind of handle them differently. But Miami's always been like a strong region of Florida in terms of Smash power, and like when I played Smash 4, when I went to my first tournament there, like I got 7th. Or 7th or 9th, because I got timed out on Congo Jungle by a Zero Suit Samus. And I was like, okay. And then I came back next week, and then I just destroyed all of them. And I was like, you guys got your fun. Now you're gonna lose. But I've always been like a very, I don't want to say arrogant. I do have a bit of an ego.
Ego's fine. Ego. People complaining about
like,
egos. It's so overrated, man.
I think highly of myself when I play a game. I know what I'm capable of, and I think that was always there. But it maybe took some years and some work to really go, okay, I feel it, but now I can show why I'm kind of part of that upper echelon. So Miami was someone who I considered like, oh, you're my neighbor, so to speak, in the state of Florida. But I'm gonna show you why I'm better.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the right mindset to have in general. Like, I don't know. I feel like ego and confidence it gets like shit on way too much in this community and stuff like that. Like, I get like there's a point in time where ego gets annoying, and I get it, but it's really not that bad, guys.
I think it's one of those things. It's one of those things where you have to, like, no one wants to be told they're bad all the time or hear how great you are all the time, but like being confident that I'm good at the game and then having a reason to think that or backing it up or whatever is pretty normal, I would say. Like, we can't all be Mr. Humble all the time and say I'm not that good when, like if MKLeo won it, he could be, a cocky asshole all the time, and what is anyone going to say? He's better than all of them.
I think he does have it to a certain point. He's probably just not as vocal about it.
He definitely does. I can assure you that. It's just kind of, like, there's a place and time for it. Like, I'm not going to go up to some new kid at my weekly and be like, yo, what's up, loser? Why are you here? You're not going to win. But like, if I see my boy who gets third a lot or something like that, I'm going to let him know that I'm better than him. It's partly to motivate and just because it's fun to shit talk.
It is.
And I think that's where it comes down. So I totally agree that there is a place and time for it. And I definitely never feel ashamed for kind of being confident in myself or feeling like I have that bit of an ego or something. It's like, no, I worked hard for what I have, and if you don't like it, we'll just beat me, and then I'll shut up for now, and then I'll come back and I'll start talking when I beat you again.
Oh, we're on the board!
Oh my god. What the fuck?
I threw that forward smash out to spray into the gods, and they answered.
The tipper, dude.
All right, so anyway, yeah, a lot of people actually forget that Tador has that tipper box. But so yeah, I want to move slightly a bit away from the whole confidence talk, because we could honestly talk about that all day. Like for me, like I'm not necessarily good at the game, but I'm a confident person in general. So like I'll still shit talk even though I'm about to get 3-0'd. Like,
yeah.
But let's talk about your current skill level, right? Obviously, you're among the best, right? And it's actually just kind of a weird question to ask, because normally the people I'm asking for this, they're not they're not PGR'd, or they might be PGR'd or close to it. They're just not like, among the best. But like in terms of your current skill level, where do you think you really stand when it comes to the the rest of the PGR, I guess, like that? And like, where do you want to be by the end of like Ultimate's lifespan?
That's a loaded question, because the game is changing constantly, but I think a lot. How do I put it? The dynamic had to shift when they nerfed Olimar, because there was fundamental gameplay changes in there, like things are less safe, or this doesn't do as much shield damage, so you have to adjust how maybe pressure and things. Yeah. Which, as someone who tends to play a bit more aggressive, that will definitely affect me. Skill-wise, I definitely think I'm still within the top 50. Like, I made 13th on the first PGR, and then I got Area 51 on the second, but I also took like 2 months off the second PGR, I think, so I just didn't go anywhere. So that's why, it wasn't from, the inability to do it. It's just I wasn't at the tournament to get the numbers. And I think skill-wise, I'm definitely on top 50 for sure. I would honestly put myself still within top 30. I think I kind of had to rebuild myself up mentally after going through some stuff last year that really mixed with the nerfs, just made life a lot harder than it needed to be. Yeah. And it felt like it almost set me back a notch. But from how I can play, like, I know that I'm capable of being, at least top 30, no problem. By the end of Ultimate, I would like to reach top 10, and I think it's possible. I am, like, it's weird because I can fight any top player. Like, it doesn't matter if it's MKLeo, it doesn't matter if it's, same sort or whatever. And like, and this is, I think, a byproduct of how I've played the game over the years, also playing Olimar. But like, I can beat anybody. Like if I get 2 purple Pikmin and I don't mess up, you don't win. Like it's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
And that's been shown time and time again by anyone. Doesn't matter who I play. Like I can break shields instantly. I can take stocks. I can do all this stuff. And that's kind of like a nice reassuring thing because I feel like if I can maybe refine some other more consistent aspects, like the defensive aspect of my play, then I can just let myself kind of flex that natural mastery of Olimar and the ability to just like be really explosive in the game. And that's something that I'm in the process of working on. So right now I would say I'm still top 50.
Okay.
Probably top 30. I think I just need to buckle down and do it. Living in the part of Florida I do makes meaningful practice.
Oh yeah, no.
So
Florida's definitely a stack state, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's definitely something different compared to up here in North Dakota.
But yeah, I definitely put myself there. By the end of Ultimate, though, assuming nothing radical changes with like my character of the game, I would think top 10 is a reasonable goal if I keep working for it.
Keep forgetting I had this stage. But yeah, no, it's kind of like a certain quote I remember reading one time through Purple Pikmin, anything is possible.
Oh yeah, no, that's how it is. They're insane. It's almost unfair.
No, I've definitely noticed it a few times here where I'm just like, okay, yeah, you know what? I'm about to hurt this guy. And then all of a sudden a Purple Pikmin comes flying around the corner.
They are, and that's why I like Olimar. You don't get a character like that in any other way. Like there's no Purple Pikmin on any other character, and
Sure.
they're so multifaceted in the way you can use them.
Big damage. So moving on from there, let's see, we went over your weaknesses, skill level. So yeah, let's talk about some like Smash Bros. Moments. So obviously you being a player that you are, you've been able to go to a lot of big tournaments. You've been able to see a lot of things in general. Are there any moments in general that really stick out to you as a player within Smash Bros?
Yeah, I mean, we all have tournaments that we've watched, either that we've seen like some of our favorite players play in, or that I've kind of lived, I guess. Like watching, you know, tournaments where HBox makes the most insane clutch comeback ever, or where MKLeo makes one of those insane clutch comebacks. I always think of like GTX and Smash 4. I always think of GTX and Smash 4 where Elegant was doing him dirty, and then he hit one sour spot bear, and then the game and then the set was essentially over at that point because then MKLeo wins, or he does some crazy, you know, game 4 Leo against Samsora or some nonsense, you know. It's crazy. Tournaments for me though, I think one, I guess, sequence that I really liked, and this is a little bit of the back and forth between him and I, or used to interact. It's like at Pound, I was seeded higher than Samsora, I think, or I got seeded like 3rd or some like really generous number, right? And like Samsora was like, why is he seeded this high? Like he tweeted it out, and then I saw that, and then I went and beat the shit out of Samsora in bracket, and then I tweeted, I was like, oh, this is why, and I just put the result page of me beating him, and it was like, well, what are you gonna say now? You know, it's like the interactions like that are really meaningful. And I, you know, and then the next time we played at like Come to Papa, he ended up beating me, and it was because we had to fight like round 1 or whatever, and did round robin pools. But there's like those little moments, I guess, you get that players tend to get when there's that beef or something like that. I've had my fair share of non-tournament, like when you're traveling to a tournament, the things you're doing when you're not at the tournament stories where you get some interesting scenarios, like cars breaking down or whatever you may have you.
Sleeping in the
those
car.
are always, yeah. There was waking up without my pants on one time.
What the hell?
Yeah, I was at a tournament for Brawl, and we were in this apartment. We were staying in a friend's apartment, and we're all sleeping there. And I'm laying down there in my jeans on. I'm just like trying to sleep. They're playing Smash in the other side of the room. And I go to sleep, and I wake up, and I'm like, where's my pants, guys? They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I went to sleep. Where's my pants? They're like, we don't know. And I don't know what happened to my pants ever. Like, I never found out what happened to my pants.
Oh, like you didn't even have them the rest of the day? Like,
no, like they weren't there. Like I was like, what? Like, did you guys take my pants? Like, nah, man, we didn't take it. And I was like, well, pants just don't disappear.
So what was it, like you just undressed and like sleepwalk undressed and threw
I
pants in the garbage,
guess
like...
I just like decided while I was sleeping that I didn't need them anymore. But I've had stuff like that. I've had some crazy people try and help me fix up my car when it broke down. That was really something else. But no, I think the best moments for Smash for me are as a spectator, where you can watch like some genuinely good gameplay, like a real good top 8 or something like that, or a real good set, and then kind of like the moment-to-moment interactions you have that are more candid, I guess. Like you don't expect them, and they can just happen naturally. And it's not the best from a storytelling perspective a lot of the time, I suppose. Like you know, I got the Buzz and Larry Lurd arm wrestle once. You know, like I have a picture of it.
Weird.
It was at main stage, and I got them to arm wrestle. I was like, yo, can you guys arm wrestle for me? I want to see you stronger, or whatever. They ended up doing it, and it's just like that kind of stuff. That's just it helps make it a more memorable experience.
Yeah, I guess. Like I don't know. I just out of all people in the Smash community, I'd probably be like, hey, the Buzz and Larry Lurd. Which one is really stronger? Like let's find this out.
Or when I went around telling people where Larry Lurd's in-game tag came from, and I made that story up. Like he used the tag Orca to the, you know, he thinks it sounds cool, but I was like, no, Orca actually comes from his love of Shamu ice cream from Busch Gardens. Because they had the Orca Whale ice cream, and Shamu's an Orca Whale. So I went around telling people. Even we were at Evo one year, and he was playing a set, and there's a big crowd around it. I was like, hey, do you know where his tag come from? And then they're like, nah. And I was like, yes, we actually really like Shamu ice cream from Busch Garden. No, Herda. And it's just like stuff like that. It's just so good.
That's actually really funny, the Shamu stuff.
I told him that. He's like, no, don't tell people that. I was like, it's too late, Larry.
It's too late. It's fact now. I don't know if you know how the history books work, but whatever I write.
It's already been printed, my man. You can't get away from it.
That's actually really funny. So yeah, moving from there, it sounds like you got a lot of really good moments. I expect you to. I mean, you've been to a lot of. Oh, I missed.
Oh my God, I was so worried.
No, I'll get it.
No.
So moving on from there, it sounds like you got a lot of great moments, and I think that's to be expected when you go to a lot of majors and stuff like that. You know, when you're among one of the top players in the world, you're gonna have a lot of those experiences and a lot of those interactions. So it's really cool to some of the things that you've experienced yourself. That's actually really dope. Like I don't know, there's something great about something pure. But so going from there, let's talk about what you might want to talk about. I did shoot you a message. I don't know if you thought of anything at all.
I tried, but I was having trouble coming up with a super great topic. Let me see if I can get one off the top real quick. So I know you said you're not like a competitor, but what do you, or like a big competitor? You know, you like to do commentary and things like that. How do you feel? Like, have you entered any Wi-Fi tournaments during this quarantine, or how do you feel like this is personally affecting you as, you know, the quarantine for like tournaments? Because to me, you know, not only was I hitting up majors all the time, and it was kind of my life at that point, but I was also going to like, you know, multiple in-person weeklies with what essentially was my second family every single week, and having, you know, a great time making memories. But that's not a thing anymore, and I see a lot less at the moment. But I understand that I'm not. I'm in more of the minority in terms of like tournament attendance overall. So I was wondering, like, how do you feel this has kind of adjusted your current interaction with Smash Brothers and things like that?
So have you ever watched Step Brothers?
Yes.
It is exactly the moment where it's like, we're interviewing you now. We're just trying to get their jobs. So, so have you ever? For me personally, this actually, the pandemic has been the best thing to happen to me, which sounds awful, but let me explain. So as a competitor, I'm pretty okay. I'm probably like right outside the HM range for North Dakota, which isn't exactly the strongest scene, but it's still a great scene nonetheless.
Yeah, for sure.
But again, like, so as long as I've been active, I've been basically doing commentary about the same time. Like, and it's something I've always wanted to do. I've always been inspired by, you know, some of the guys like TK Breezy, EE, Coney, and stuff like that. And some other people who, unfortunately, can't really talk about it anymore.
I gotcha.
But, so I started doing commentary, and it's just, I just love talking, dude. I mean, I'm doing this right now, and I've gotten like some pretty big names on here, so obviously I'm doing something right. And what happened is, they were doing a like a little highlight reel or whatever, and I think it was Eric. Eric is a Mii Sword Fighter main from up here. He said, "Hey, who's this on commentary?" He's like, "This is actually really good." And it was like, oh, this is me. And it's like, yo, this is actually dope. And like from there, it's just kind of like grown. So I kind of built myself up within the community as you know, the talking man. And the reason why the pandemic's been good to me is I've basically been on the grind trying to just get my name out as much as possible. So like trying to do commentary as much as I can. There's a couple big events I don't really get into, which is fine. You know, it's not a huge deal. I'm still really a relatively brand new name. I'm just kind of just getting my name out there. But like one that was in particular, I think it was Kaizen up in the Michigan area. She got me a spot for Bunker Down 4, which had a lot of big names, just being run by Armada GG. And I got a spot with Censored there. Censored's probably, I probably consider him one of the better, not probably, but he is one of the better commentators in the Midwest. And so we did a spot there, and then they needed a spot filled for top 4 with strides, and I hopped in. I was ready to go. So I did that, and then from there I've hit a bunch of other events since then, and just through different organizations. And one guy in particular, Last, he is actually like the head TO for the Juice Box series that through Team Liquid and Hungry Box, and I now do the commentary for Juice Box top 8 every week.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so like it sounds weird, but like the pandemic's been the best thing to happen to me.
Hey, I mean, if you can get some positives out of power to you, man. Like I was not so. It wasn't like the pandemic wasn't. How do I put it? Wasn't like directly bad on me in like a normal sense. Like I had a really, really crazy year planned up to, and I had it all, you know, done out, and then it just, you know, didn't happen. And it's made me kind of do some self-reflecting about other things, and it's given me some positive. You know, I've got to hang out, chat, and game with some friends who I hadn't seen in a hot minute. I've been enjoying that, but no, that's good that you're able to pull some positive out of this, because you know, I've always been a person who's had to play a lot of online. This just because I'm in a region of Florida that, for the longest time, was me. Like that was the region. You know, there's a joke because I live in a place called Fort Myers. They call it Fort Myron.
I know Fort
and it's
Myers.
Like, yeah. They call it Fort Myron around here. And it's just, you know, for the longest time I'd have to get practice online so much. But now that I only have online for a lot of things, it wears on you mentally. And it's just got me yearning to go back. But you know, I'm trying to make the best out of it. You know, now's a really good time, like you were saying, for content creation and things like that, where you can stream, you can make YouTube, you know, you can do whatever, and that's something that I'm trying to do more and more, as much as it is a bit of a difficult thing to navigate, you know, when you're busy with other things in life. But no, it's super. Oh wow, it's super good to be able to just sit back and reflect and find like some positives. I think I've gotten some as well. Like, you know, I started going to the gym, and I probably wouldn't have done that if I was traveling all the time.
Yeah, I've been seeing that actually. Good for you, man. That is honestly one of the toughest things to do. I know, because I've made several attempts myself, and I'm usually good for it, like maybe about a week, and I'm like, hey, I'll take a break for today.
I thankfully have one of my best friends going with me and kind of keeping me in check. And he kind of holds me accountable, which I think is really important. And that's kind of keeping me there. But no, I am trying to extrapolate some positive out of this, these more trying times. But I can't lie and say that I'm not eager for things to go back to a more normal way, where I can actually go to tournaments and travel again and not have to play Sonic online and you know, the good things in life.
I was actually just about to start making some trips to some bigger events as well, because I was on my way to Combo Breaker potentially for a commentary spot, but this is before, like, you know, I really started finding my own stride. But even then, just going to Combo Breaker, like I went to Big House 6. Big House 6 was the first and only major I've been to. And, I mean, I just watched Melee all day. It was Smash 4 going on the other side. I was already kind of falling out of Smash 4, but I only played Smash 4. I didn't really, like, watch it as much. But Melee was just sick, man. It was,
Melee's a great spectator game. It's so fun to watch.
It's not even that. It was, so it was Mango, I think, coming from loser side to reset the bracket on Armada, or what side?
Yeah.
Regardless, he won over Armada, and, man, I've been to plenty big sporting events, and there's not a lot of places that have been as loud as a Mango win at a major.
Yeah. You get the fan favorite winning that shit, and it is Mango. Oh man, dude. I mean, I remember it was it might have been the last Big House. I think it was the last Big House that Mango won for Melee last year. I could be wrong, but it was one of those tournaments, and I remember I was at home. I didn't go to the big house. Yeah, it was big house. I actually remember because that's one of the tournaments I didn't go to for Ultimate in the last season. But I was watching the tournament and Mango's doing his sick comeback. You know, that's how he is. And I'm like, I went and grabbed some food by myself and I'm just sitting at this restaurant and I'm popping off in that restaurant, like at these combos and things that he's doing. I'm getting looks and I'm like, you guys don't understand how good he's playing right now. Like it's not describable unless you're seeing it.
It's not even like art. It's just it's like it's like a big mess, but it's the most beautiful mess I've ever seen. Yeah, it's just
like so many like little improvisations just instantly that you're like, oh my god, how is he doing this?
Right.
And it's just so great, and that's, you know, I think why all of us love Smash, because while I have popped off of plenty of fighting game moments, I guess maybe because I play Smash I know it better, there's so many of those like, oh, he just did that moments where it's a bit more free form than the traditional, you know, health bar style, and that's super enjoyable, I think, and that's one of the reasons that I enjoy Smash, because it's so much more open.
For sure, yeah. No, there's definitely a lot more like personality, I think, that comes in with the combos here.
Yeah, there's a lot of expression in there, and I think that is why it's also so appealing to so many more people. Like, you know, Smash is that huge game in terms of numbers. It's easy to pick up and play, and there's a billion characters, and you can feel good about every hit you land and things like that. It's very satisfying.
Oh, no, I totally agree with that. But yeah, man. So long story short, though, that's where I am with the pandemic. I have competed in a few of the tournaments, and I just do okay. You know, I've had some pretty decent runs, and you seem to have some pretty good runs yourself. But I'm kind of glad that, you know, you're definitely at least doing okay in these times, at least. But I mean, we all struggle in our own way, and I hope things kind of get into more of a normal, like the rest of us.
Yeah, no, that'd be super nice. I'm thankful that I have a very supportive network of family and friends to kind of keep me grounded when things get a bit tough, which I know not everyone has the luxury of having. So that's a message to anyone listening. Talk to your friends. They're there for a reason. And it's just, you know, you don't have to, in these times especially, where it's just feels rather hopeless or monotonous, you know, finding a silver lining is really important.
For sure. Yeah, I got really nothing else to add to that, because I think you put that down pretty well. However, I do want to put in one more question here, because my friend Pink Shirt Guy is actually the guy who tagged you in my post.
Okay.
And you were like, I don't know what this is, but yeah, it's a good message. So I remember you were talking about mac and cheese one time.
Oh yes, I love mac and cheese. Dude, my favorite food.
Mac and cheese is so good. It's literally in my Twitter bio, mac and cheese savant.
I go out of my way at any tournament I go to try and find a mac and cheese specialty place, and I've been to quite a few. I don't remember the names of all of them, because like when I was in NorCal for Genesis, I've been to two. I went to Get Macked, which is really good, and then I went to this other place I can't remember. And at one of them, they had like this. Some of them are kind of like a specialty, like you can build whatever you want. Like Get Macked has like 3 different pasta types, a bunch of different like toppings, you know, a few different cheese sauces and stuff, and like breadcrumbs and all that you can put on, and they're really good. And then there was one place I went to that was a bit not fancier, but kind of more like, here are your options, as opposed to like you create your own.
Yeah.
And I got this Gilroy garlic, they called it, and it was so good. And then I've been to Max in Wisconsin.
I guess that is the place to get some mac and cheese if you
really
want some.
I ate there 3 times that weekend. When I was like, oh, this is so good. And yeah, I just go out of my way to find places that have macaroni and cheese. So good. I even, you know, I made my own. I got a friend, you know, in town who makes this really good homemade mac and cheese. It's just, I'm always looking for a new reason to eat some.
Oh, I won't wait too long. But yeah, no, I get that. I think my personal favorite mac and cheese, I mean, besides like just friends, I have a friend back home who makes a very, very good mac and cheese. She puts like so much cream in it though that like, it's great, but at the same time, like I need to take a 5-hour nap.
Yeah, it puts you to sleep. No, my friend does the same thing where it's just so like thick, and you're like, all right, I can't like function after I'm eating it. It's like, it's too much.
Yeah. But outside of that, there's a place up here called Blue Moose in North Dakota.
Okay.
And it's probably not the greatest thing, but like It's like it's very greasy, but like it's greasy to a point where like it's good, not like so, you know how some greasy places get. And you're just kind of like, dude, please, I'm trying to live.
No, I understand. I had this mac and cheese at this Canadian, almost like it was very hole in the wall esque, right, for its type of restaurant, and I went there and I got this. You know, I really like hot dogs with my mac and cheese. I think it's like a solid staple or like a solid combination. And they had this hot dog mac and cheese, and they had mustard. And I got it without the mustard because I really don't like mustard. But we get this mac and cheese, and we go eat it in their like really shoddy looking basement because that's where the seating was and all that. But it was so. I don't know what it is about these like random hole in the wall places and having like you feel like you're gonna die when you eat there, but then it tastes so good.
You're like, yeah, I'll come back. I'll bring all my friends, and they'll think I'm trying to harvest their kidneys.
Yep. So I definitely feel you on that. I always, oh my god, again.
I fish for that so much.
I always try to look for a place when I go somewhere. Like I'll Google, I'll be like, is there any mac and cheese place? Or I'll ask around just because, like I said, it is my favorite food, and I just love experiencing the different, I guess, cultures or versions of it. Like I was at this barbecue place in Detroit or Dearborn, Michigan, one of the areas of Michigan, for like the first fall spot I went to, and they had like this fried chicken mac and cheese, and it was really good.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was so good. You know, just that's one of the best parts about traveling, and it's one of the reasons why I always encourage people to go out and do these. You know, go to a major every now and then if you can. Just one, because the major's super fun and you get a lot of good practice, but also the food in some of these locations.
Oh yeah.
Like I've had some super good ramen, you know, Korean barbecue, regular barbecue. And I come from Florida, and we got good barbecue here. Like I was in a place in Texas, and Texas barbecue is very different from Florida barbecue, on average, I'd say. And I tried a few different barbecue places in there, and one of them was like, you walk up and you tell them, hey, I want this many pounds of this meat, because they had just a giant like cooker there, and it was all out. And they're like, pick what you want. And I was like, I've never had like a buffet of barbecue like this. Yes, please. You know, load it up, and it was so good. So it's definitely one of the reasons to travel.
Oh yeah. So anyway, yeah, but I the whole travel thing, I'm all for that too, because like I've actually had the pleasure to be able to go to Japan a couple times, and let me tell you, man, some of the food that they have out there alone, like even those hole in the wall places like you were talking about, it's a whole nother level. It's just, I don't know. It's just people just need to travel, man. Travel, see some things. It's not all about the game. It's about the food too.
Yeah, no, for sure. I didn't get to travel nearly as much in Smash 4 just because of money, but like now that I did it so much more in Ultimate, and I started doing it towards the end of Smash 4, it's just like get out there. You don't have to be like, you know, super good at the game or do anything crazy. Just like go out there, have fun. Like you said, the food alone is like reason enough. You half the time with how good some of it is, and so, you know, so much of it's regional that you can't even like get it at your home, or you get some like weaker comparison. You know, I was supposed to be in Japan this year, didn't get to go. I'm gonna try and go at a later time, but you know, I'm gonna be on top of that food.
Oh, for sure. What part of Japan were you going to? Was it just Tokyo?
I think it was Tokyo and maybe Shinjuku.
Okay. Oh, Shinjuku's within Tokyo.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, I'm not the most familiar with the landscape of Japan, but yeah, we were gonna go there because we were going for an Umabura.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So like the way Tokyo kind of works though, it's like Shinjuku, Akihabara, Shibuya, all that stuff. It's all like it's like their districts within the city. Yeah. So
yeah,
it's super cool out there, man. You could have a whole month to do whatever the hell you want in just one district. You're not gonna do everything in that district. Jeez, that was a long board. Thanks, Olimar.
Yeah, that'll happen. I don't think so, buddy.
No, I'm gonna get it at least one more time before today ends. Okay, maybe you'll get it. No, I revenged. But super good stuff. So actually, one more question about boxed mac and cheese, like Kraft.
Okay.
Yes or no?
I will say yes, because I'm the type of guy, and this is like with any food, where I can enjoy something really gourmet, and I can also find an appreciation of something simple. Like let's say I make a box of Kraft, right? I'll make it, and I'll probably add in like pepper or like, you know, a couple other like seasonings like that on average. But I can also eat straight box Kraft mac and cheese no problem. I'm not like a snob who's like, I can't have that after having this delicious thing. I'm like, no, see, that's where you're missing out. I can appreciate both of them.
And that's what I do. Like I just love mac and cheese. Box mac and cheese is enough. Like literally last night for dinner we made spiral mac and cheese with hot dogs.
Yep. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just good.
There's nothing wrong with it. So do you think? Now I might be crazy here, and I think I've had a few people agree with me, but a lot of people think I'm crazy. Do you think shapes taste better than regular mac and cheese?
Oh, without a doubt, spirals taste better.
Oh my God, thank you.
Without a doubt. It's like I got a box of spirals the other day, and I was like, I know this is about to hit different. It's just like there's something about it, because I mean, obviously having different types of noodles will like make the cheese stick better or whatever. Like my friend makes his mac and cheese with a cavatappi, which is like the corkscrew. And like that, holds cheese a lot better than something like a fettuccine would or whatever. Yeah. But no, spirals in craft or like shapes, like the SpongeBob shapes. Don't get me started on those, man.
I don't. You don't have to get started with anything. I know what you're about to say.
Like, yeah, they are just better than the regular elbow macaroni, and I don't know why, but it is. And anyone who says otherwise is bullshitting you, because they don't want to own up.
It's just people have too much pride when it comes to their food sometimes. Like, by the way, totally recommend. My wife does this every once in a while, where she'll just take some steak tips and put it in some spirals mac and cheese.
Oh, okay.
And
I'll definitely give that a try.
It's a good meal. Like you sit there, you're like, it's like I'm fancy for the cheapest possible way.
Yeah, there's been plenty of times where I made like mac and cheese, and then I'll like cook up a chicken breast. I'll cut it up and put it in there. Or I'm a big sausage guy. Like I like smoked sausage. I'll make like jalapeno cheddar sausage, and then I'll cut that up and I'll pop that in my mac and cheese, and it's just a good time. It's simple. Like it's really straightforward. There's no nonsense. He really wanted it. He really wanted it.
I think I messed it up entirely too. I jumped first. But good stuff, good stuff. I'm glad that you appreciate mac and cheese just as much as I do, and in all shapes and sizes.
Of course.
But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up right there. Again, we're actually reaching the 1 hour mark here. Highly appreciate you coming out here, by sitting at your computer and taking your time to do this with me, man. It's honestly, it's an honor to have you on. I wasn't expecting to have any really big names for a long time, considering, just how growth works with these types of things in general. So thank you so much.
No, I was happy to do it. It was actually really fun.
I'm glad you had a lot of fun. Tell your friends.
No, I'll definitely shoot me a link whenever this is up, and I'll make sure to give it a tweet and all that stuff.
Absolutely. But going on from here, I just want to know, is there any final words you kind of want to throw out there before we wrap this all up?
I guess to anyone who watches this, Smash is in a weird spot right now, and it might feel like you're not seeing tangible growth, because that's just how what improvement goes. But just keep practicing. Enter a tournament if you can. If you really want to improve, that's the biggest thing. It's repetition. Practice makes perfect, you know what they say. But just know that you don't have to have some. It's okay to lose. You don't have to be perfect all the time. Even the best players lose. And just don't sell yourself short just because you haven't met a goal. You can't time gate those things.
I think that's definitely a good way to end this out. And yeah, so once again, thank you for coming out here. Thanks everybody for watching. My name is Wonderful Skiff, and be good to each other.